I'm Leslie B, justice seeker, story keeper, and we're still watching, waiting for justice.
Hello, happy Friday. I just had to do a live on this because what a week. How can Corey Richens be sentenced the same day that the Alex Murdaugh murder conviction is overturned? Anyhow, hope y'all had a great week. I'm having a Cosmo and just a regular cup because it has been a doozy with work. Pretty much over it. But I know, of course, I mean, the basics of this case, but I was not like a religious trial watcher of this years ago. But I want to hear what everybody thinks. Do y'all think the right decision was made, or what do you want to hear? I thought we could watch the verdict because I watched this a few days ago, and Becky Hill seemed, I mean, I guess she was very nervous, I'm sure. How many people were watching the trial? But it was almost like she was like, "Do I read this or that?" So I want to get y'all's takes. But I am Leslie B, and I'm happy to be here. And I'm not an attorney. I just enjoy our little community here. And we've got some really cool people that come in and chat. And I think y'all are awesome. And because I had a bad week, I said, you know what? I'm going to do what makes me feel good. And I'm going to have a live. So, hello, Keller. Are you in South Carolina? He said the Murdaugh family is both feared and loathed in the Low County in South Carolina. 3 generations of the Murdaugh family had a stranglehold on the district attorney's office in the Low Country, 1920 to 2006. So I knew that there were deep roots because wasn't it like his great-great-grandfather or something had a portrait in the courtroom and they had to remove it during the trial? Hey, Tater, you agree with Keller? Yeah. Keller says the hatred for the Murdaugh family in South Carolina is the reason the court clerk Becky worked to influence jurors to convict Alex Murdaugh. Adelson Hater, still one of the best YouTube handles out there. Becky freaking Hill. Becky is a dangerous idiot. Yeah, I mean, at what point, if I was on that jury, I would have been like, what are you doing? You know, I'm shocked that no one spoke out about it. Hello, Bobby. Hey, Ruth Ann. Always good to see you, Tater. Hey, Sienna. Taterbug watched it. Good. Hey, Brush with Life. Hello from Michigan. What time to be alive and free in a true crime community? No kidding. But it's like, really, how does all this happen at the same time? So we were live streaming Corey's sentencing. That was 5 hours. I really do not know how these people stream all day, every day, because it wore me out. And that was 5 hours. Adelson Hater, it's the right decision, even if it benefits Alex. I agree. I mean, I hate it, but I do agree. Happy Friday, Christina. It's good to see you. Kate Coco Zigatrist. Am I saying that right? Good to see you. So I'm going to play the verdict because I want y'all to see just how like Becky Hill acted. And we'll just kind of bounce around. I'm not going to stream something the whole night and make us watch like the whole trial. Oh, and by the way, I think this is my favorite judge. I'm just saying. Tater, you said it's not going to benefit Alec. They are going to do an even better job the next time, and he will still be in prison. Yeah, because he still has like 40 years because of the financial crimes. Hey, Jane for Justice. I think it's a cool name, Kate Coco. I like it. So this, we're back in his verdict. Oh, Adelson Hater, did you hear that Alan Wilson says the deep death penalty is not off the table? Interesting. Hey, Cheryl, good to see you.
As you can see for yourself, Alex Murdaugh sitting with a very straight face as he prepares to hear the jury's decision. Again, the jury received the charge from the judge, and they've been deliberating. So, as Andrea mentioned,
Oh wait, I like to hear him.
Reach the verdict. Reach the.
I would like.
Madam Floor Lady, if you'll stand
let's
for
listen
me.
in now.
Have you reached the verdict?
Yes, sir, we have.
Is it unanimous?
Yes, sir, it is.
All right, if you will pass it up to the clerk, who will pass it to me. And you may be seated.
I agree, Adelson Hater. I said the same thing. I was in an STS chat, I guess the night of this was overturned. And I said the same thing. I feel so bad for Buster and also for Maggie's sister. Yeah, why didn't they do the death penalty the first time? Keep on, Smith.
The defendant will rise. Madam Clerk, you may publish the verdict, starting with the back, not with the, let's see.
Okay, so he's asking Becky Hill, who was the court, what is it? The clerk of the court, whatever, to read the verdict. And he's saying, start with the back. I think saying like the lesser charges first, or I don't know, but just watch.
I'll tell you again. Starting with the back, flipping them over one by one.
Is that better, Tater? I moved my face over. You said to move it to the top left of the screen.
State of South Carolina versus.
Docket number 2022 GS 15-00592, the State of South Carolina, County of Colleton, in the Court of General Sessions in the term of 2022, July, the State versus Richard Alexander Murdaugh, defendant, indictment for murder, SC Code 16-3-0010, CDR Code 0116. Okay.
See, she stops and like asks him, do you want me to read this? And he's like, read the verdict.
Guilty verdict. Signed by the forelady, 3/2/23. Docket number 2022-GS-15-00593. The State of South Carolina, County of Colleton, in the Court of General Sessions, the July term of 2022. The State versus Richard Alexander Murdaugh, defendant, indictment for murder, SC Code 16-3-0010, CDR Code 0116, verdict guilty, signed by the forelady, date 3/2/23. Docket number 2022-GS15-00595, the State of South Carolina, County of Colleton, Court of General Sessions, July term 2022. The State versus Richard Alexander Murdaugh, defendant. Indictment for possession of a weapon during the commission of a violent crime. SC Code -16-23-0490. CDR Code 0549, verdict guilty, signed by the foreperson of the jury, date 3/2/23. Docket number 2022 GS-15-00594.
So Adelson Hater says, you think Alex has a case against South Carolina to recoup his legal expenses? I didn't even think about that, but that would make sense. I mean, I think those attorneys, I mean, they had to be what, 2-3 million, wouldn't y'all think? That's just my guess. I feel really bad for Buster. And yes, if you're new here, welcome. Happy y'all are here. And please like, I appreciate it. And if you don't subscribe, I would love for you to. Kate Coco asks, during the trial, didn't everybody love Becky Hill? I don't know, but the papers or the Supreme Court decision that came out, like she wanted this for her book so that she could buy a lake house. But now she's paying restitution. I think she had to pay back all her money earnings, her book earnings. And all she got was she had to plead to some of the things, but she got 1 year probation.
Jury,
3254, your verdict. Is it still your verdict? Is it still your?
Yes.
Is it still your verdict?
Yes.
Juror 729, was this your verdict?
Yes.
Is it still your verdict?
Cheryl says, I don't know about Buster, not sure about his involvement or not with the Stephen Smith death. But wasn't that Paul that was doing that? Oh, wait, Stephen Smith. Yeah, I don't know. Whatever happened with the lawsuit with the boat accident with the young girl that died? Was that settled, or it's been a long time since I watched that Netflix documentary. Skier says Becky is an embarrassment.
Yes.
Juror 826, was this your verdict?
Yes.
Is it still your verdict?
Yes.
Juror 864, was this your verdict?
Yes.
Is it still your verdict?
Yes.
Your Honor, the jury has been polled.
thank you. The jury has been polled and the verdict is a unanimous verdict. If you will bring the alternate juror out and have her have a seat in the audience, please.
So when you're an alternate, you have to sit there while everybody's in deliberations. Does anybody know how long deliberations were, by the way? Adelson Hater, you bet there's a history between Alex and Becky. He probably didn't let her in on a deal and she's getting back at him. Interesting. Wouldn't that just be conflict of interest? Yeah, I agree. Tater says the video of him at the dog kennel is very damning, and that's just one small piece. Yeah, Jane for Justice. Did they unpublish her book? I don't know if they unpublished it, but they did make her return the income. Hey, Citizen Kane.
By the state, response.
Your Honor, based on our previous arguments, we would submit that the case properly went to the jury and the verdict is proper, and would rely on those arguments.
We've been here now 28 days, first few days of jury selection and the remainder receiving testimony, an overwhelming amount of testimony and evidence that was presented to the jury for the jury's consideration. As I indicated to the jury during the jury charge, or the charge on the law, that this was a matter solely for the jury to determine. The court found at the end of the state's case that there's sufficient evidence to find the defendant guilty if the evidence was believed by the jury. Likewise, at the end of the defense's case, when the motion was renewed, the court found that the evidence was sufficient for the jury to find the defendant guilty. The jury has now considered the evidence for a significant period of time, and the evidence of guilt is overwhelming, and I deny the motion. Mr. Murdaugh, you now having been found guilty of 2 counts of murder involving your wife and your son, 2 counts of possession of a weapon during the commission of a violent crime. The burden now comes upon the court to impose a sentence. Given the lateness of the hour and the victim's rights that must be taken into consideration and complied with under the Victim's Bill of Rights, and consider what I would anticipate to be a number of people who might have something to say regarding sentencing, we will defer sentencing to a later date. Of course, the minimum sentence for murder is 30 years. The maximum sentence is life imprisonment as to each count. And on the weapons charge, the sentence is up to 5 years or 5 years, which has to be concurrent if a life sentence is imposed. When would you all like to reconvene for sentencing?
All right, now I'm going to switch over to the sentencing. If y'all are good with that.
You'll come before the court for sentencing.
We zoomed to sentencing. I mean, they got a person that cuts good haircuts in their jail.
This has been perhaps one of the most troubling cases, not just for me as a judge, for the state, for the defense team, but for all of the citizens in this community, all the citizens in this state, and as we've seen based on the media coverage throughout the nation. You have a wife who's been killed, murdered, a son savagely murdered, a lawyer, a person from a respected family who has controlled justice.
I agree, Armand. So why did he use the two different rifles? And did they ever find it? Or weren't they never found? I thought Tim Jansen, I know we give him a hard time, but I thought he said something that I agree with the other night on STS. He said he knew Alex was guilty, I guess now it's allegedly, but he had no blood on him. And if you were to be a parent that comes on a scene and you see your spouse and your child on the ground bleeding, you would be running over there to do whatever you could, and you would be covered in it.
In this community for over a century, a person whose grandfather's portrait hang at the back of the court.
Oh, he's talking about the portrait. Taterbug says Armand, he wanted it to look like two people were there shooting them. That's right. Yeah, I remember that now. Deliberation was less than an hour? Dang.
House that I had to have ordered removed in order to ensure that a fair trial was had by both the state and the defense. And I've sat through the trial.
So I just Googled about Mallory Beach and says the family of Mallory Beach reached a total settlement exceeding $15.5 million in 23-24 to end a wrongful death lawsuit stemming from the 2019 boat crash, primarily paid by Parker's Kitchen, $15 million, and insurers for the Murdaugh family. Murdaugh, however you pronounce it. The final long-running suit against Alex Murdaugh was settled in October 24 for $500,000. So Parker's Kitchen is the store that sold the alcohol to the underage boaters. Let's see, it says, On October 24, a judge approved a final $500,000 settlement from Progressive, the insurer of the boat involved in the crash, closing the civil case against Alex Murdaugh. The state and others. Additional funds were included from the estate of Maggie Murdaugh, and Buster Murdaugh was released from the suit. Legal fees. Reports indicate over $5 million of the settlement was allocated for attorney fees and expenses. Ongoing litigation. While the wrongful death suit is resolved, a separate civil conspiracy lawsuit filed by the Beach family against Greg Parker and his attorneys regarding the handling of investigation photos is still pending. So there you go.
Not only have it sat through the trial, but also as the presiding judge of the state grand jury sat through and participated in the issuance of search warrants of various sorts, bond hearings, and have had to consider many things. And we have this case, and I'm also assigned to preside over 99 others, at least 99 other cases. Though testimony has come up regarding many of those other cases, I will not make any comment with regard to any other pending matter, as I have been assigned those cases as well.
Here for today, you're going to go read Wikipedia so you know what everyone's talking about. Oh, I think it's kind of fun just to listen to it. Julia, you said Buster got expelled from law school. Yeah, wasn't he at, it wasn't Clemson, was it South Carolina? And I think he plagiarized.
It's also particularly troubling, Mr. Murdaugh, because as a member of the legal community and a well-known member of the legal community, you've practiced law before me, and we've seen each other at various occasions throughout the years. And it was especially heartbreaking for me to see you go in the media from being a grieving father who lost a wife and a.
I remember when this story broke that this happened. I believe it was 2021. Y'all can correct me if I'm wrong. That was the year my son graduated from high school. And I remember going, this is very strange. Citizen Kane says, I wonder how Bubba is doing, the hero in all of this. So Bubba is their yellow lab. And there was a Snapchat, because Alex Murdaugh was saying he wasn't there. But basically the Snapchat video that I guess Paul sent somebody, you can hear Alex in the background. It says minutes before the murders on June 7th, 2021, Paul Murdaugh recorded a video at the family kennels to check on a friend's dog, that they were keeping somebody's dog while that person was out of town. In the background, Alex Murdaugh can be heard speaking to Bubba, who had a chicken or a guinea hen in his mouth. This proved Alex was at the crime scene, directly contradicting his claims he was napping in the house. Yep. And you do wonder, like, is there more Snapchat data now? I mean, they could have even more, right, with all the advances in technology?
Son to being the person indicted and convicted of killing them. And you've engaged in such duplicitous conduct.
This judge had lost his only son a few months prior. Julia, thank you for reminding us. I do remember that. I just adore this man when he says, bring in the jury.
Here in the courtroom, here on the witness stand.
Yeah, Adelson Hater says, who thinks it would have played out this same way had Alex been a poor black man? I do not. This feels like white privilege. Yeah, I mean, I just think There's so much hatred for Alex Murdaugh and Murdaugh, however you say it, and all eyes were on it. Had it not had all that the eyes on it, I don't think this ever would have gone to this level and been overturned. I agree.
And as established by the testimony throughout the time leading from the time of the indictment and
Okay, so they never found the gun. So where do y'all think the guns are?
prior to the indictment throughout the trial to
Reg.
this moment in time, certainly
That's right, I remember that.
you have no obligation to say anything other than saying not guilty. And obviously, as appeals are probably expected or absolutely expected,
To use two guns to make it look like two people is such premeditation. Did they check him for gun residue? Does anyone know?
I
mean,
would
I'm sure they
not
did. Stupid question.
expect a confession of any kind. In fact, as I've presided over murder cases over the past 22 years, I have yet to find a defendant who could go
Family.
there, who could go back to that moment in time when they decided to pull the trigger or to otherwise murder someone. I have not been able to get anyone, any defendant, even those who have confessed to being guilty, to go back and explain to me what happened at that moment in time when they opted to pull the trigger, when they opted to commit the most.
Wasn't Alex Murdaugh like on a lot of drugs and he was taking pills, right? Taterbug says, I think he considered it a mercy killing because he knew his son was about to go to prison for that accident and his wife would have a hard time with that. Yeah, and it was a distraction because of all the financial crimes, right? He had stolen from his law firm. He had stolen from everybody. I mean, he was taking from escrow accounts, if I recall. Cat Ride says, someone leaked Mallory's pic to media. I'll never believe it was Mandy Matney. Jane for Justice. This verdict was easy. Defense denied everything. Then the cell phone recording blew them up. And Alec had to admit he was there after so much lying. The next one will be very different. Right, because this trial was before all the financial crimes, and now he's convicted of it. So it'll be interesting to see how that's allowed in, what is and what's not. Becky Hill also had released photos of the crime scene to the media that were sealed. She was accused of that.
Heinous crimes known to man. In this case, qualifies under our death penalty statute based on the statutory aggravating circumstances of two or more people being murdered by the defendant by one act or pursuant to one scheme or course of conduct. I don't question at all the decision of the state not to pursue the death penalty. But as I sit here in this courtroom and look around the many portraits of judges and other court officials and reflect on the fact that over the past century, your family, including you, have been prosecuting people here in this courtroom, and many have received the death penalty, probably for lesser conduct. Remind me of the expression you gave on the witness stand? Was it
Oh, the tangled web we weave.
We weave.
Oh, what tangle web we weave? What did you mean by that?
Meant when I lied, I continue to lie.
And the question is, when will it end?
That's what the Adelsons could say. I meant when we lie, I continue to lie.
When will it end? And it's ended already for the jury because they've concluded that you continue to lie and lie throughout your testimony. And perhaps with all the throng of people here, they, for the most part, all believe, or 80, 90%, 99% believe that you continue to lie now when your statement of denial to the court. Perhaps you believe that it does not matter, that there's nothing.
Hey, Callie, and do y'all remember how heavy he was at the time of the murder and then how he slimmed down when he was in jail?
That can mitigate a sentence given the crime.
Julia says there's a young lady on YouTube said Alex R'd her violently at a party, but the hostess said, don't tell the law. Wow.
Crimes that were committed. You know, a notice of alibi was filed in this case by counsel in November, and we conducted a hearing, pretrial hearing, in which you claimed to have been someplace else at the time the crime was committed. Then, after all of the witnesses placed you at the scene of the crime, at the last minute, or last minutes or days, you switch courses and admitted to being there. And then that necessitated more lies and continued to lie. And
let's play that video. Y'all want to? Hold on. Just give me a second.
It's in court today as testimony continued in the murder trial of Alex Murdaugh. Today, cell phones took center stage in the Colleton County courtroom.
Yeah, absolutely. The most pivotal part of testimony today centered around Paul Murdaugh's own cell phone. And what was a major revelation for the prosecution, SLED agent Britt Dove testified that video that was recorded around 8:45 p.m. on Paul's phone near the dog kennel was pivotal to this case. A friend whose dog was staying in that kennel asked Paul for a video of the dog's tail. Prosecutor John Conrad questioned Dove about what he heard in the clip. Agent Dove says you can hear three distinct voices. The prosecution says it's Paul, Maggie, and Alec. But remember, Alec told SLED investigators he was taking a nap at the house during that time.
Yes, sir, I did. The video looks like inside maybe a kenneled area with a fence around it and a dog, I believe to be a lab, where he's trying to take a video of the tail of the dog.
Okay. All right. And that's what you see in that video.
Yes, sir.
What do you hear in the video?
You hear three different voices in the video. You can tell because they're so different, you can tell that they're different voices.
Okay.
Hey, he's got a bird in his mouth.
Yeah, you hear that right there. Hey, he's got a bird in his mouth. I think that's Maggie.
Okay.
Hey, he's got a bird in his mouth.
Hey.
You hear that? You hear
He's got a bird
Alex say, Bubba.
in his mouth.
Hey, Bubba. Hey, Bubba.
It's a guinea.
Feel recorded again, Lieutenant Dove?
The camera began.
Yep. Snapchat. Oh, yeah. Remember Alex's mom's caretaker saw him go into a shed at his mom's house that night. Didn't his mom have Alzheimer's? And so he claimed he was over there checking on her. Everything. And they didn't check him for anything. Jane for Justice. He took a shower and had on a spotless white t-shirt, remember? Cat Ride. The caretaker was extremely nervous testifying. That's right, Julia. Yeah, because he went to a closet or something at his mom's. The guns were wrapped in that jacket he took to his mom's, which were tested and full of residue, but they didn't find the guns. Citizen Kane, the judge did an amazing job. I wonder what he's thinking now. I feel so bad for all these people, right, that did everything right, but Becky Hill messed it up.
At 8:44:49 p.m.
It ends when?
At 8:45:47 p.m.
All right, there you go. And then later today, Rogan Gibson.
All right, I'll go back to the sentencing.
And I said, where will it end? It's already ended for many who have heard you and concluded that it'll never end. But within your own soul, you have to deal with that. And I know you have to see Paul and Maggie during the night times when you're attempting to go to sleep. I'm sure they come and visit you. I'm sure.
All day and every.
All day and every night, he says. So this is the interview in the police car. What's this called? Like SLED, like South Carolina law enforcement or something. Doesn't have sound. Hold on.
All right, Mr. Murdaugh, just state your full name for me, please.
Richard Alexander Murdaugh.
Murdaugh.
And spell your last name so I get it correct.
Murdaugh.
All right. And you go by Alec?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, see, I mean, nothing on his shirt. Skier said he changed his shirt before calling anyone. There was no blood on his shirt after trying to save Maggie.
And date of birth, Mr. Murdaugh?
May 27th, 1968.
And a good phone number for you.
803-942-1227.
All right, sir.
Callie says, I can't even imagine what Maggie was thinking when she heard the first shot. Who was shot first? I'm sure they could tell that, right? Do we know? I'm sure they've done. It's been a long time, y'all, since all this.
And sir, what was your name? Yeah, Danny Henderson.
Real happy is not told that he was taking pills.
All right. As I stated, I'm David Owen in Lower Rutland with Colleton County, and I'm with SLED. I hate to have to do this.
Yeah, Alec is a sociopath, in my opinion. I agree. Adelson Hater says it wasn't a mercy killing. Alex didn't want to have to release his financials, right? He didn't want to get caught.
I understand.
Yeah.
I totally understand.
Yeah.
So you don't have any problem with it.
So, just start at the top, take your time.
Like when I came back here, I mean, I pulled up and I could see him, and you know, I knew something was bad. I ran out. I knew it was really bad. My boy over there, I could see it was.
I have to say, that is better acting than the unindicted co-conspirator, in my opinion. Oh, real happy. Alec didn't want to bring shame to the family name. He could stomach Maggie knowing all this was because he was a thief. Do you mean he couldn't stomach? Yes, Julia. Alec knew he would gain sympathy for the deaths, which would help him not pay Mallory's family. Do y'all think he'll take the stand again? Do you think he'll take a plea?
sorry. And I could see his brain on his...
Oh my God. Yeah, and supposedly when the police showed up, they walked all through the blood and the brains.
And I ran over to Maggie. And actually, I think I tried to turn Paul over first.
Oh, he tried to turn Paul over, but he has a white T-shirt on with nothing on it.
You know, I tried to turn him over, and I don't know, I figured it out. His cell phone popped out of his pocket. I started to try to do something with it, thinking maybe, but no.
Yeah, I was trying to delete his Snapchat. Cat ride. Alex's brother said he pooped his pants on the stand on national TV. Yeah, about Alec. I remember that.
And I put it back down really quickly. Then I went to my wife, and I mean, I could see.
Did you touch Maggie at all?
I did. I touched them both.
Okay.
I tried to take, I tried to do it as limited as possible, but I tried to take their pulse on both of them. And, you know, I called 911 pretty much right away. And
I just don't understand how people think they're going to get away with this, or like how this is even acceptable. I mean, I know I always say, or my husband always says to me, Leslie, you're trying to be rational about irrational people. Citizen Kane, the way law enforcement let tons of people trample around the crime scene and inside the house. Yep. Callie says, Alex and Becky lie.
And she was very good.
No, Julia, the brother says, I think because Alec was addicted to the opioids, that it would make him poop his pants or something. I do remember that.
I talked to her. I told her I was going to get off the phone to call some family members.
Yeah, the cat ride.
I did that.
Alex pooped his pants on the way to rehab.
What family members did you call?
I called my brother Randy, and I called my brother John. And I tried to call a little boy, real good friend that's right around the corner from here, but I didn't get him.
What all was around Paul when you walked up?
Blood.
Anything else?
I mean, there were some body things, yes, sir.
I mean, like any other evidence? I know you said the phone fell out the pocket, but did you see anything else that didn't belong or shouldn't belong or that wasn't part of Paul?
No, sir, not.
John, you talking about it at Alex sentencing? Is that fancy fiction with the glasses? Are you talking about the lady here in the gray with the gold necklace? That's funny.
No, sir.
How about Maggie?
No, sir.
You didn't see anything around them? What made you come out here tonight?
I went to, my mom's a late stage Alzheimer's patient. My dad's in the hospital. My mom gets anxious when she does. I went to check on them and Maggie. Maggie's a dog lover, and she fools with the dogs. And I knew she'd gone to the kennel. I was at the house. I left the house and went to my mom's.
So, you know, that house has been sold and the kennels have been knocked down because the jury in this trial went and visited the kennels, but they're gone now. Tater says he shot Paul first. Then when Maggie heard the shot, she started running towards Paul. He shot her.
For just a little while. Tried to call her when I left. Texted her. No response.
Armand says, I watched an interview with law enforcement investigators in this case said things that did not come out in court. They were sure he did it from the start. Yeah, the kennel
When I got
video
back
was
to
a
the
big deal.
house was obviously nobody was in there. So I figured they're still up here fooling around. Paul was gonna be getting set up to plant. Our sunflower seeds got sprayed and died, and he was refiguring to plant the sunflower seeds. So I came back up here and I drove up and saw.
Wait, what? Adelson Hater? Remember how Alex's brother said he thought he had a responsibility to Paul to clean up the bodies?
And called.
Do y'all think Alec was pissed at Paul and that's why he did this too? Because it was just another problem with this lawsuit?
Had Maggie and Paul been arguing over anything?
No.
What was their relationship like?
Wonderful.
Wonderful. How about yours and Maggie's?
Wonderful. I mean, I'm sure we had little things here and there, but we had a wonderful marriage, wonderful relationship.
And yours and Paul's relationship?
As good as it could be.
How old was Paul?
22.
Okay. You know his date of birth?
I do. April 11th, 96 is his brother's. April 14th, 99 is Paul's.
God, I mean, I graduated college in 96.
What's Maggie's full name?
Margaret Brandstetter.
Right, Armand, how he thought the financials will be ignored after he red rum his wife and one son is strange. No logic. Exactly. Can't be rational about irrational people.
Murdaugh.
And her date of birth, sir?
Agree. You'd have to pry me off my kid.
September 15th, 1968.
Y'all said my husband is right this time. My husband, he's great. He is. He just wants to protect me. He's like, I just don't like you out there on the internet. But I don't know. Yes, Adelson Hater. I forgot about that. He pulled a stunt. You said, had he not pulled that stupid stunt on the side of the road, he may have gotten away with it. Where he pretended he was like carjacked or something, if I recall.
Have y'all been having any problems out here? Trespassers,
None
people breaking in?
None that I know of. The only thing that what comes to my mind is my son Paul was in a boat wreck a couple years ago. And there.
Yeah, Alec had somebody shoot him in the head. It was like brazed his head. But again, just a little more distraction.
Been he was charged with being arrested for being the driver. There's been a lot of negative publicity about that, and there's been a lot of people online just really vile stuff. But
hey, I do want to say something though about fancy fiction. It's no hate, but she gave a shout out to whoever found the picture on Instagram of Miss Estrada. Yeah, that would be me. Yeah, I'm the one who found it.
When Paul's out and about, I mean, people routinely, I don't think I know the full story, so I don't think they give it to me, but I mean, he's been punched and hit and just attacked a lot. So,
but if the guns were taken to his mom's, I mean, where did they go from there? Because they would have found them.
But I mean, nothing like this.
Yeah. Any one person in particular or group of people?
I mean, did he have an accomplice or did he go back later and take them? Do y'all know?
I don't know.
Hey, Claudia.
Think of?
Not that I know, no, sir.
Hey, Marcy.
Has he, other than being assaulted, has he received any direct threats related to the boat accident?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
All the time. He gets
recently?
Yes, sir. I mean, he gets them all the time.
Okay.
He gets them all the time.
What kind of, I mean,
I'm gonna kick your ass, you know.
That's what I say every morning in our morning work meeting. I say, I'm gonna kick y'all ass. I have 4 more days before I take off for like 10 days. And thank God.
I've never been privy firsthand, you know.
Is that through social media or?
No, ma'am. It's mostly like if he goes out places is what, you know, what he goes out like somewhere. He's in college, so if he goes out is what I understand. I can find out better details from some of his younger friends on that.
Who's his best friend?
His best friend in Colombia is Will's Chapman, Will Loving.
Imagine like he's listing off all these names and it's like, it's you. And so now you're a Google search. Callie said your husband looked it up a while back and told me the property was sold in 2 different parcels. House was sold separately from the hunting land. That makes sense.
Bobby Boyle, Will Chapman, and Paul were getting ready to move into a house together in Colombia.
You said Will Chapman.
Marcy, my husband, is right because I'm always like, I just don't understand how people think they get away with this. He said, Leslie, he always says, you're trying to be rational about irrational people. But he's also right about weird people on the internet. I mean, I've had some kind of weird things happen to me, and I'll just leave it at that. But he doesn't like it. You were hoping you would never have to see his face again. Yep. And remember when they had the big auction or estate sale and all their stuff was being sold? I just remember seeing videos and people were walking through and it was like Maggie's cookbooks and like a fur coat or something. Patricia, Leslie, he took out the strongest of the 2 first. He knew Maggie would not run and leave her son's side.
And Will Loving.
Will's with an L, Chapman, and Will with an L.
Will's is the southern name. It's Wils.
Loving.
Okay.
God, the snot snorting is gross.
Around here, his best friends are clearly Nolan Tootin and Rogan Gibson.
Nolan Tootin.
Yes, sir.
And what was the other one? I'm sorry.
Rogan Gibson.
Have you talked with any of these guys tonight?
Talked with Nolan, yes, sir.
Is he out here?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I tried to call Rogan, was one of the people he's the boy that I told you lives around the corner. That's very, you know, he's just a good, helpful young man. You mind if I...
Julia, that's what I kind of thought too. Like, hey, FF. I mean, I know like she's the OG on it, but I'm kind of like the newer group, as they call us. But that's all right.
Open the door really quickly.
Go right ahead. Do what you need to do.
He barf. Spitting his loogie. That's right, John Smith.
So is there
I have been acknowledged by the chosen one.
anybody that you can think of that we need to talk to tonight? Is there a name that comes to mind?
Tater thinks she always thought one of his brothers went to retrieve the guns and disposed of them.
I mean, I can't tell you anybody that I'm overly suspicious
Hey,
of.
Laura Lee, it's so good to see you.
Off the top of my head.
Okay.
You know, I mean, this is such a stupid thing. I'm even embarrassed to say it, but it just didn't make any sense. I just hired a guy out here, and he wasn't cutting the mustard, but I hadn't told him this yet. Paul's been working with him a lot. He killed the sunflower seeds in our dove field just recently, which is why Paul was here doing this. He told Paul a story the other day about how when he was in high school, he got in a fight with some black guys, and the FBI undercover team observed him fighting those guys. and put him on an undercover team with 3 Navy SEALs, and that their job was to kill radical Black Panthers. And they did that from Myrtle Beach to Savannah. Now, I really don't think this guy, is probably the person, but that's just so friggin'.
Yeah, that's kind of far-fetched
It's
story.
weird, but he was off today.
Okay.
He took his daddy to the doctor.
What's his name?
CB Rowe.
ROWE?
Yeah, and I sent him a message to text me earlier today.
I don't know. It just seems weird that you would be that like, yeah, send him a text, blah, blah, blah.
Now have a
The
piece
auction.
of an infamous South Carolina family. An auction for the estate of the fallen Murdaugh family got underway around 4 o'clock
Does anybody know anyone that went to this?
this afternoon. And as of the start of this newscast, it was still going strong. People traveled near and far to get a peek inside of the family's life.
I mean, that is a lot of brown leather, y'all. That is a lot. I bet it smells like leather and cigars.
Well, tonight, Queen City News anchor Morgan Francis is the only local reporter in Pembroke, Georgia. Morgan, a few questions for you here. The first thing is, number one, is the auction over? And then what was like the highest item up for bid and just how much?
Well, I can answer that, both of those questions in one answer. The auction is still going on, Alicia. So we haven't been able to talk with any of the workers about what some of the highest price items were, but it's still going on right now, 6 hours strong behind me. But at one point I did
I just thought this was sad, though. I mean, I guess Buster got what he wanted, but just imagine like all your belongings being auctioned off.
hear one of the workers shake his head and say, I can't believe how much money people are willing to throw, at a piece of Murdaugh merchandise.
I'll be honest. If I was there, I probably would have bought something. Hey, Allison, good to see you. My father's alibi. And John says they had over 2,000 acres with an airstrip on it. I wonder if he flew in drugs, right? Wasn't there a lot of rumors about like a cartel involvement?
You're out 1,600. You're out 1,700. 17, 16.
For a family that ruled law in the Low Country for a century,
Sold 1,600.
the fall from grace and liquidation of assets has been almost as swift as the words leaving an auctioneer's lips.
Everything happened so fast. I mean, just, from everything just getting from the trial to everything getting auctioned off.
Alex Murdaugh was convicted 3 weeks ago of brutally murdering his wife and son at their Colleton County property. Now the contents of their home have been sold to the highest bidder. Many followed the trial. Some went to it.
I was at the trial 11 of the days that they had it. We would get there in the mornings by 3 o'clock and sit and wait to go in to see it. So it was fascinating.
All were intrigued about what laid inside the home that housed a lifetime of secrets.
Going in there, you have a glimpse of what their life was like, what their tastes were like. And that's kind of, I don't know, feels like you're peeking in the window.
From a pair of turtle shell lamps for $1,800.
Oh, I remember those turtle shell lamps. People were flipping out.
To Longhorns that went for $10K.
Here I am. I got them.
To a dartboard inscribed with Buster Murdaugh's name for $475.
I think a lot of people have been intrigued by the whole thing, and so it's just something neat. And I needed a dartboard for my house anyway.
It's still unclear where the proceeds will go.
How it came to be, who hired the attorney and all of that, I don't know. I haven't asked anyone. It's not my business, so I didn't ask.
But what is indisputable is the intrigue this once prominent South Carolina family.
It's not my business. I didn't ask, but I did text a few girlfriends and gossip about it.
Continues to attract.
I'm waiting on the next trial, and I'll be there for the next one after that.
There you go.
About sunflowers, and he called me back when I was on the way to my mom's house.
Did you talk to him at that time?
Briefly, I was on the phone with a lawyer friend of mine named.
Yeah, Adelson Hader. He was so sure he was going to get away with it. He didn't ask for an attorney. Every attorney gets legal representation immediately. Yeah, and I would too. And even if I know sometimes they're not allowed to use that as like that's a guilty way, but I would totally get an attorney.
And Chris Wilson from Bamberg, so I told him I'd call him back tomorrow. See him in the morning.
When you briefly talked to Mr. Rowe, what was his demeanor or attitude? Or
I mean, it seemed normal. I mean, I asked him about the sunflowers, and so, you know, I mean, I'm sure he's.
I think the people in the back seat are thinking, this is some bullshit. I mean, nobody seems that worked up, in my opinion. Hey, Andrew, and all the crimesters.
A little bit.
Where does he live?
I don't exactly know. Somewhere in in Bronson.
Okay.
Ah,
Do you have
gross.
his phone number?
I do.
You got it with you, please, sir?
I do. You know, but I do think him and Paul got along pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
That's just really, really weird. All right.
Leather can be stinky. It can be, but it can also be cleaned, unlike upholstery, which has in it. Yeah, Creighton Waters. And that name, I mean, Creighton Waters. It's just like begging to be like, I don't know, printed on a business card. Good evening, my dog named Bo.
CB.
True, Tater.
Right there.
Tenacity for the truth. I thought about that. Is he going to be able to afford the same high dollar defense team? So I Googled what his net worth was and it said like 1.4 million. I have no idea if that's accurate. So will he have to get a public defender? I mean, you're looking at millions for a retrial.
Yeah, I know he called me, so I'll go to that.
JLR went to the auction.
Okay.
843-540-9335. You need to get that phone on the charge, Alec, if you can.
Claudia Jinx says, apparently he flew in drugs. The cover was
Is that an iPhone?
jellyfish.
Yes, sir.
Watch your leg for a second, please.
Thank you.
No, Alex iPhone's going dead.
When did he tell that story to Paul?
I agree.
Sometime last.
So, Julia, I'll tell you one thing I collect. You said the South is great for antiques. I collect silver napkin rings. So back in the olden days, a couple things. One is when you welcomed guests into your home, you put a pineapple out. That was the sign of hospitality. Do y'all know this? So people would come into your home and they had the pineapple out. But when they would come down like for breakfast, and if the pineapple was gone, it meant it was time for you to go. But back to the silver napkin rings. So everybody used a different silver napkin ring to go with your cloth napkin, because they used the same cloth napkin for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So everybody had a unique napkin ring to identify their napkin. So I have a collection, and at the holidays for our family, we all have a unique napkin ring. But it's a really cool thing to collect. So when we travel, I mean, even like when we've gone to California, I'll go to an antique store and get one. So I have a collection of a lot of different napkin rings. It's easy. It doesn't take up a lot of room, but what do y'all think about that? The little Southern Leslie B. I've had that guy with me from Chicago again this week working with me. And he's like, oh my God, I just love how you talk. And I just really turn it up when he's here. He thinks it's hysterical.
Last week.
Okay.
Sometime last week. My son Paul actually I really do not think, on all honesty, that it's him, but I know y'all got to check it out. But Paul.
Who is Brooklyn? Y'all said Paul
Was so taken
Buster
aback
married
by
Brooklyn.
That he sent I'll find it. I got it on my phone. He recorded him saying bits and pieces of it.
Okay.
God, the loogie
Uh,
hawking. Okay, so y'all keep talking about Brooklyn. Here she is. So Buster married Brooklyn. So yeah, she went to the trial. I remember this. There's Buster and Brooklyn. Buster has a baby? What?
But for all his weirdness, I mean, I do think they they got along
Okay.
pretty good.
How long had he been working here?
I guess about 3 or 4 pay periods, so 8 weeks, a couple months.
Okay.
God. So Skier says, is Dick Harpootlian still defending him? That is one of the worst names I've ever heard. Let's look it up.
Going back to the boat incident, anybody on that boat really have a hard on for Paul that you would think would come after him, or
I mean,
any
only in the
direct
South. Do you think they have a hard on for Paul?
threats from people on the boat?
I don't know of any direct threats between any of the people on the boat specifically, but I do think there's been a small amount of yip yap between a couple of them, but not recently.
Okay.
Most of this was stuff from people that Paul didn't really know.
Okay.
It was some people that he knew distantly.
I'm going to pause this for a second and find Dick Harpootlian.
Now here on WCNC. This week, the South Carolina Supreme Court overturned the double murder conviction of Alex Murdaugh. 3 years ago, he was convicted of killing his wife, Maggie, and son, Paul. It's a case that drew national attention. Joining us this morning, his defense attorney, Dick Harpootlian, a man known well across the state of South Carolina. Dick, thanks for joining us. Appreciate you taking time on what's been a busy week for you.
It's after Wednesday morning at 10 o'clock when the Supreme Court published that opinion. It has been a whirlwind. Was in New York yesterday doing several national shows and came back last night. And I'm now doing some Zoom with people like you.
Look at Dick sitting in his very rich wood library. As I would expect, any attorney needs a room like that. Any of them. Andrew, you love to polish silver. So you're coming to my house at the holidays.
In several TV interviews today asking,
Yes.
being answered.
Tater says, Leslie, the neighborhood West Haven and Franklin apparently is big swingers. There are a lot of upside down pineapples. Yes. So supposedly upside down pineapples mean you're a swinger. And the rumor, Tater, is that if you go to the grocery store, Kroger, and you roll around there in your cart and you put an upside down pineapple in your cart, that signals to others that you're a swinger. So I have said for years that I'm going to go and do this and just see what happens. So I think I might do it. Y'all are going to be the inspiration, and I'm going to go live and I'm going to put my iPhone somewhere on me or I'll just record it and then post it and we'll see how it goes. I had a friend that used to live in West Haven and she said it is 100% true. Supposedly, it's a nice neighborhood, by the way, y'all. I mean, most of the homes started like $1 million or something, but they put their car keys or their home keys in a basket and you pull the key and that is who you have to go swing with. I think I'd pull a key and be like, oh, hell no.
Answering the same question. Is Alex Murdaugh going to trial, or is he going to try to work out some deal? Let me make this clear at the front end. We've talked to Alex. He's never, ever indicated that he was anything but innocent, and this will be a trial.
Patricia.
And do you feel like this time around that you can get, given how well known this case is by not only folks, in the Low Country and in South Carolina, but really honestly across the country, do you feel like you can get a fair trial?
Well, we're going to have to be very cautious on picking this jury. Hopefully, we'll be able to convince the judge to allow the attorneys in this case prosecute.
Yeah, John Smith thinks I should get some meta glasses for CrimeCon. Yeah, The thing is, though, I think they light up so people see them. I've seen where people try to wear them in an Hermes store, and Hermes is like, you have to turn those off, which is so stupid. Oh, Tater heard that too. Your best friend's stepdad works at Kroger. I'm going to do it. Like one of these days, I'm going to get ballsy enough and I'm going to do it. My husband won't like that here for today. I know. He thinks the whole West Haven thing. He's like, Leslie, that is not true. I said, yes, it is.
Prosecution and defense to do what's called voir dire, that is question the jurors individually. We're not allowed to do that by statute, only in death penalty cases. So I think because of the publicity, because of how well known and renowned in this case is, I think it's important we be able to get individual examination of jurors to see if they are in fact able to be fair and impartial. Of course, you know, this first verdict was the result of a fixed jury fixed by the clerk of court, which is, I've been doing this.
How does the clerk of court, though, fix a jury? I mean, I didn't even interact with the clerk of court. I don't understand this. I mean, we only spoke with the bailiff, and he didn't say much.
Half a century, and I've never seen anything. I've talked to my friends across the country. They've never heard of such a thing.
Now, the South Carolina Attorney General did say it's going to be in the same jurisdiction. That's what he wants. And he said he wants this done really quickly, perhaps.
So apparently a lot of the restaurants in this small town like only open so many days a week, and they brought food trucks in to make sure they could feed all the media and everything. But I would think it brought a lot of revenue to the town.
By the end of this year, this trial, what are your thoughts on that? You guys ready for that?
Yeah.
Well, two things. One, Alan Wilson, maybe he doesn't know because I think this is the first case he's tried in 20 years as Attorney General. Maybe he doesn't know. But I noticed that his experienced lawyer, his appellate lawyer yesterday, was not saying they were going to try it by the end of the year. We don't even have a judge appointed yet. Alan Wilson's running for governor. The primary is like 3 weeks from Tuesday. He's making a political analysis and judgment, not a legal one. There's no way this case gets tried this year.
Yeah, I'm going to go to that statement. With the Attorney General, he wants to go for this year, which, I mean, the year's like basically half over. Neverly says the Murdaughs had a jurisdiction over 5 counties. They literally reigned with power and influence. Tater says the Murdaugh Mafia. Marcy, I wonder if AM or his family somehow paid the clerk of court to pull this stunt. It's reverse psychology. So who would suspect the M family? Interesting. Yeah.
Given all that has to be done, we got to serve discovery requests again, make sure we have everything up to date. We have, and you'll hear a little bit more about that later on, but we have additional evidence we've uncovered. Once we got to get, until a judge is appointed, we can't get subpoena power to begin subpoenaing records.
All right. I'm going to go to the press conference that was earlier this week announcing that it was overturned.
Reverse the murder convictions of Alex Murdaugh. Ruled in a 5-0 decision to reverse the murder convictions for Alex Murdaugh for the June 2021 murder of Maggie and Paul Murdaugh. The court based its decision on the conduct of then Colleton County Clerk of Court Rebecca Hill.
Hey, if y'all are listening, I'm going to try and do better with this. Please like and subscribe. Helps us to get this video out to more viewers.
As you know, this conduct involved her in interactions with the jury at that time. As the court said in the order, this was conduct unknown to the state and other individuals. My office's position has always been that the conduct, while inappropriate and should never be condoned, was ultimately harmless as it related to prejudicing Alex Murdaugh's right to a fair trial. The Supreme Court obviously disagreed in its conclusion. While we strongly disagree with the Supreme Court, we respect its decision because that's how the process is supposed to be played out. So now we must look to the future. What does this decision mean going forward for this office? First, Alex Murdaugh is currently serving a 27-year sentence for the financial crimes that he has admitted to in a guilty plea that we secured against him. And he has also waived his appeal.
Some people say Murdaugh, some people say Murdoch, but
for those financial charges. Additionally, he pled guilty to federal charges about 5 months after he pled to the state financial charges. He received a concurrent 40-year sentence in addition to the state's charges. So Alex Murdaugh will not be getting out of prison for several decades. Currently, our office is reviewing the Supreme Court's order.
I agree, John. You said it's probably an unpopular opinion, but I believe the Supreme Court did the right thing. I mean, I agree. I think everybody thinks he's guilty, but I do think it's the right thing. She was saying crazy stuff like, he's going to testify. Y'all pay attention. This is big. You know, oh, y'all are going to deliberate. This shouldn't take long.
We're meeting with members of our legal team and our staff. We're evaluating what our legal strategy will be going forward. As of right now, the state has 15 days to ask the state Supreme Court to reconsider its decision, and we have 90 days to appeal to the U.S. Supreme Court. However, it is currently my intention to seek a speedy retrial in the case against Alex Murdaugh. Obviously, I always say this with the court's current decision. We obviously recognize that all defendants have the presumption of innocence unless and until they are proven guilty in a court of law, and Mr. Murdaugh will enjoy that presumption at this time. Are there any questions?
Mr. Attorney General, your opponents in the governor's race are jumping on this, saying your office bungled the case. I know the court's decision pointed the finger at Becky Hill, but are you worried that this is going to affect your campaign for governor and will look poorly upon your records?
No, not at all. Obviously, the court has been very clear. People who have never actually been a prosecutor, been in law enforcement, stepped foot in a court of law, held the hand of a victim as they got a jury sentence read, have ever gone through this process. They can make all the political haymakers they want out of this, but at the end of the day, people were murdered. People were murdered at the end of the day, and if people want to make this a political issue, that just shows their character or lack thereof. This office and the men and women who worked in this office at that time and who will be working on this case going forward are some of the finest prosecutors, finest investigators that I have ever met. Whether they're at SLED, whether they're in this office or the law enforcement agencies that we worked with, they did their jobs. The Supreme Court even said that in its order, that the state of South Carolina.
Skier asked, so was Creighton Waters the appointed prosecutor again? I don't think we know. They have so many days to respond. So I think we'll get more then, but my guess is yes.
Did its job right. Obviously, this court gave us some guidance going forward in the next trial regarding how they would like to see evidence handled or presented rather, but they placed this squarely on the shoulders of the former Carlton County Clerk of Court. Anyone who says otherwise is purely playing politics with a very, very serious issue.
Attorney General Wilson here or Walterboro, or do you know?
We would expect it would be in the same jurisdiction that it was originally tried.
Why?
I think the trial will get relocated. That's my opinion.
There were issues with the clerk of court.
I think it's pronounced, I mean, I would pronounce it by looking at it due to my hooked on phonics. Murdaugh. But they say Murdoch. It's kind of like tomato, tomato, potato, potato.
In that court.
The clerk of court has been convicted of misconduct and is no longer the clerk of court.
So you don't expect any other possible issues in Colton County?
Well, Carlton County is not the reason that the clerk of court did what she did. That was the clerk of court's decision.
Did she face any other charges as a result of this?
We're not going to comment on any other possible. Obviously, the case against the former Carlton County Clerk of Court was referred.
And this attorney general guy is running, I believe, for governor of South Carolina.
To another solicitor for review. That solicitor made criminal decisions regarding the totality of her conduct. She pled guilty to misconduct charges with conduct unrelated to this case. I'm not going to speculate on anything else at this time. Yes, sir.
Did this ruling come as a surprise, and what can you tell to the people of South Carolina who might be worried about the cost of the second trial?
Well, first off, our office has always maintained, and we've never disputed that the conduct Ms. Hill engaged in was inappropriate. We have always maintained that the conduct was harmless error. Obviously, if you, for those of you who watched the post-trial hearings, for those of you who saw everything unfold in real time, there were many, many, many witnesses who testified that this, I think 11 of the jurors testified in open court during that post-trial hearing that they did not believe that this affected their decision. We believe that it was harmless error. And so obviously when the court came to a different conclusion, it was obviously disappointing to me personally. I know it was disappointing to Creighton. It was disappointing to other members of our team.
I think when you look at crime families, I think the Murdaughs, whatever would say to the Adelsons, hold my beer.
And as far as the cost of a second trial, for those who might be concerned about the legal costs incurred going forward with this, considering he is behind bars for several decades.
Here's the thing. When people are murdered, okay?
I love this statement right here. This guy, yeah.
When victims are murdered, they have a right to have their case adjudicated in court, even though they're not currently here. Their family members who they left behind have a right. For those who want to see justice meted out, they have a right to that. So we're not going to let that be a factor in our decision to move forward. Seeking justice is the role of this office. Enforcing and defending the rule of law is the job of this office. It is the job of the men and women of this office, and that is what we have always held to.
Do you plan to prosecute the case any differently this time?
As I said a moment ago, Mr. Waters and I have been in consultation all day. He's been talking with members of our team here in the State Grand Jury Prosecution Division. We don't want to comment publicly on what our legal strategy would be moving forward. Obviously, there'll be very little surprises to the general public as this case gets retried again. But obviously, we have a roadmap the Supreme Court has given us based on what they have put forward in their order. But again, I don't want to talk.
But Scare, I don't think that the defense is allowed to bring up that this is a retrial. Like, I don't think you're allowed. I mean, I could be wrong, but I will tell you, people are like, I mean, who doesn't know about this case? My husband. I mean, he knows a little bit, but I mean, people are always like, how are they going to find people? There's plenty of people. Oh, by the way, last night, did anybody get to watch the Adelson show, the Dan Markel murder? What was it called? Something Investigations on A&E. We don't get A&E. We have YouTube TV. And I was going to have to subscribe to Hulu Live for like $90. And I thought, nope, I'll wait. So I'm curious, did anybody watch it? And did you learn anything new? That is what I need to know.
Too much openly about what our legal strategy would be because we haven't gotten there yet.
Was there ever any consideration of possibly taking this case up to the Supreme Court? You said
Andrew, that is Creighton Waters, the best name ever.
you had a window to possibly get that done.
We're still in.
If y'all have never been to South Carolina, you have got to go. Charleston is one of the best places to visit. I love Charleston. The history, the food, it's just a great place.
In that window for 3 more months. So obviously it is something that we are contemplating all of our legal options and we're exploring everything. This just happened today. So making a firm decision one way or the other on what we want to do on our right to appeal are things that we're going to be talking about in the hours and days to come. And we will be making those decisions. Regardless of that, is my current intention to seek a speedy retrial of this case.
With the documentaries and the different podcasts that are already out, do you think that will taint anything in the case or the retrial?
I mean, look, you always are concerned about the exposure a high-profile case gets, and that is always something you're concerned about. But obviously, the process is designed and built to kind of call that out. And obviously, I trust the process and the system to help us get back to a court of law where we can get this information back to a jury.
One more question. How quickly do you expect you could be back to trial with this?
My intention, and we've talked about this, it's aspirational, but we would like to try to get back before the end of the calendar year.
You might not be Attorney General at that point.
Irrelevant. It doesn't matter who the Attorney General is. The Office of the Attorney General will still be here. Would I like to be involved in this case like I was the first time? Absolutely. But like I said, the men and women, many of the men and women who were on that original trial team are still in this office. Some have obviously moved on to other opportunities, but most are still.
think about this guy compared to Jack Campbell, and that's all I'm going to say. Taterbug says Creighton can play a mean guitar. Have y'all seen the video of his band playing? Nope, but I'm going to show it now. Hold on. Oh my God, look at that. That's badass. Prosecutor and in a band.
Get up in the morning, smile and kiss your face. Read with the yawning, walk around your place.
When I see this, it just makes me think of college, like in my Abercrombie and Fitch jeans and probably an LL Bean sweater. I don't know. And some Timberland hiking boots, my jeans pegged, thinking I was just, yes, this is what this makes me think of. This is really, really good.
It's been such a long week, and I know it feels so good. Look where you get in your car, and nothing's ever right where you are.
Taterbug says feels like she's back at the KA house. Yeah, I went to a lot of the band parties at Fiji, Sigma Chi, and SAE. That's what it makes me feel like. But you know, once you've been to a few of those, you're like, these are really gross. I mean, the bathrooms are nasty. You'd rather pee in the bushes.
I can't believe it. The moon is off the rose. You're so deceiving.
You know what you want to do here is just have a solo cup, get some Miller Lite out of a keg, and then after it's done, head to Waffle House. That is what we do in college in the South. And then you go home for the summer, and your mom's like, "You look bloated."
And I had my eyes closed. You asked me how it's been. You know it could be better. After all I see, better sooner than later. Better sooner than later. Better sooner than later. Better sooner than later. Yeah.
I mean, I just want to go back to college right now. That was amazing. Julia, he can appeal again. Yes. Yeah. Oh, hey, Dina, you said if he is found guilty, can he appeal? Oh, yeah. Y'all, our government gives them so many appeals. And that is why I don't love the death penalty, because it's really rare people actually get put to death. But you get this appeal team and resources that are crazy. Julia, you said SAE means sleep and eat. That's funny. Tater, Leslie, after I came home from college, the first year I walked in and my dad said, "Baby, you're fat." I remember, I think it was my sophomore year, because my freshman year, I was so scared of freshman 15. I lost weight. I mean, I was eating like yogurt and rice. My hair was falling out. But sophomore year, I remember coming home at Thanksgiving and we went to see my great grandmother who was living in a nursing home. And she was like, "Well, Leslie, you've gained a lot of weight." And I just started crying. So, and then there was a summer where I stayed at school, and one of my good friends, her mom owned the local Baskin Robbins, which is ice cream. Let me tell you, ice cream is a love language. So between the ice cream free and the pictures of, that was when, what was it called? Ice House, Miller Lite Ice House. I don't know. I want to say they had $2 pitcher night, but that doesn't even sound right. But yeah, bloated would be an understatement. Everything was fitting kind of snug. If you've gone to college, in the South especially, you'll know what I'm talking about.
But more
All right, we're back to his police
times
interview.
than not, when I learned about it, it was somebody that he didn't know.
Okay.
It's like, for example, he went out.
Oh, y'all wouldn't even believe my college pictures. I'll find some. Yeah, my hair color's a little different, but yeah, I mean, I will say I was rocking it, my little bikinis and all that, and then you had kids, and I'll just say your nipples are no longer facing forward; they're facing the floor. And if you know, you know.
Charleston a couple months ago, came back, he got a black eye, and he can't defend himself right now because he has these charges. So he would, Paul was a real tough man's man. He would just,
he would defend himself, but he hadn't been.
That's right. But
how is he handling that case, moving over everybody?
As far as what?
How is he handling it?
I've never been prouder of him than the way he has handled the pressures and the adversity in that situation. I think I've told Danny that before.
Andrew, did you go to ETSU? Wait, John Smith, where do you live? Lord Jesus, TMI, I'm sorry. But y'all, if you're a woman and you've had children, it's just part of it. I'm sorry. And I just want to say that for all you ladies out there, you've gotten a mammogram. Is it a job requirement that you have to be a bitch or just totally weird? Because I had one last week and it was all normal. Just want y'all to know. But the lady's like, "No, this is going to be painful." I was like, "No, it's fine. It doesn't bother me." She goes, "Well, I am your age and I find it painful." I was like, "Okay, well, I don't." And then she's like, "Well, are you from here?" I said, "Yeah, I know it's rare, but yes, I am." She goes, "It's not rare." I was like, "Okay." I mean, I've never had someone that was like nice and normal, but if you're x-raying and smashing boobs all day, that's not normal.
I mean, Paul is a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful kid. He can do almost anything. He gets along with almost anybody.
Do y'all store any weapons out here?
We don't store them, but they're frequently out here. I need to find out if there were any out here because
Fletcher, what's the University of Wedgwood Avenue? Is that Belmont? I guess. Fletcher lives near me in Nashville. West made for 9 o'clock classes. Yeah, I can't imagine. 9 a.m. is early for college.
I know there was a shotgun. There was a 12-gauge shotgun out here.
No, Tater, you have to get mammograms. They're not that bad. You just go. You go over to Centennial Women's. It's not that bad. In and out in 30 minutes. You can't wear deodorant or lotion. Just take it in my purse and put it on after, but you're never going to see those people again.
I'll have to find out exactly when that was. I think it got put up,
Julia, they hurt sometimes because some of the people suck.
but I'm not positive.
What did that shotgun look like?
It was camouflage.
Beverly, mammogram is like having the garage door slammed on your girls over and over. I just remember like kind of looking down and thinking, holy crap, that is the biggest like friggin' pancake. I'm like, how do they get it that flat? It's unbelievable. It really, really is. The worst is when you have someone that's just like so inappropriate. One lady was like, wow, today must be big boob day. I'm like, pretty sure that is inappropriate. I want to say, well, and you must be working here on Ant Hill Day. Belmont, yeah.
I want to say it was a Benelli or maybe a Beretta. I can't remember which brand it is. But I don't think it was out here
Okay.
recently. But I'm not positive.
And the shotgun that you had when deputies pulled up, where did that come from?
These detectives, y'all, they're not believing a word he's saying. I mean, look at him. Look at the guy in the back seat. Look at his face. It reminds me of the guy that was giving the water bottle to Donna. I posted the short video today. I mean, like, what?
Went to the house and I got a gun. Probably overreacting, but.
And was that when you pulled up and saw them?
No, I mean, I came out and I called 911 first.
Mm-hmm.
Talked to them for a little while, and then I told her.
Told her
that I was going to go to the house.
Okay.
And that I would let authorities know when they got here that I had a gun.
Okay.
You know, it does tick me off though. They sent me this like pre-registration for your mammogram, and I take it. It is sponsored by a drug company, and they're trying to talk you into a genetic test. I'm like, this is not okay that the hospital is like endorsing this. And the lady was like, if you have questions, you can ask your whatever mammogrammist. I'm like, no, I don't have any questions. I don't want to do that. Yeah, you waited over an hour, Julia. That's terrible. Mine, I was like in and out. Just don't make the mistake I did a few years ago and wear a dress, because then you're standing there in your underwear.
Do you happen to have a list of all your guns?
I can make one. I don't have one, but I can make.
Andrew, just imagine taking your man parts, like from the Koenig case about the gonads, and you just are smashing it. Like take two acrylic, like clear plastic things, and you just smash it. That's what it is.
Okay. Well, I'm just saying, so we could compare if that shotgun was out here and now it's missing.
Absolutely.
Try to figure that out.
No, absolutely.
And I know living out here in the country, you probably have more than one or two.
We do. We probably have 20, 25 guns.
Yeah. Shotguns,
rifles, pistols.
Any rifles?
Yes, sir.
What kind of rifles?
All kinds.
Yeah.
All kinds. I mean, you name it across the board, we have them.
Okay.
And I mean, they're
Fletcher Boy, we lived in Westmead and we had like 1.5 acres. It was amazing. But we moved, and it was a great house, big sprawling ranch that we renovated. But do y'all know who bought the house like 2 doors down from us, leveled it, and built a house? Chris Stapleton. I could have had him as my neighbor.
all of them we have are, in a hunting room in our house.
What was their schedule today? When did they get home?
My son works for my brother.
Wait, Christine Crank, are you saying the guy in the plaid shirt is his attorney? You said the guy in the back seat is his attorney, and he's just letting him answer all this? That's surprising. Tallygal says Stephen Smith was the openly gay man believed to have been murdered by a truck filled with several young men. It was rumored he and Buster may have been involved. weapon, possibly a baseball bat. Yes. I think that was in the Netflix documentary, I think.
And he was coming home to deal with the sunflowers. He got here. He got here pretty early because he and I rode around looking at everything for a good little while, probably 45 minutes to an hour. Maggie had things she did in Charleston, and she had a doctor's appointment in Charleston, and she got back here. It was fairly late.
Yeah, I loved living in Westmead. Our dogs definitely love that yard, but when you've had an old house, like after a while, when you have to write a check for $10,000 to replace ductwork in the crawl space because the company comes out and is like, your crawl space is really cold. That's where your air conditioning is going. You just get sick of it. And like you go out of town and you come back and the house still smells old. I mean, you replace drywall and all that, but I don't know. These are old house problems.
Was it dark yet when Paul got home?
No, Paul got home early.
Early, okay, so before
Hey, do y'all know what Rodan and Fields is? Just real quick, this little question.
or dinner time? Or
Oh, yes, ma'am.
lunchtime? Or
No, ma'am.
okay.
What brother does Paul work for?
John Marvin.
Wait, what? Andrew, our Catholic hospital in Fort Lauderdale, Holy Cross, got rid of OBGYN labor and delivery and replaced it for trans? So they don't deliver babies there? What does that mean?
And what does Paul do for him?
Yeah.
Everything.
Chris Stapleton. So years ago, I went to the Justin Timberlake concert here in Nashville, and I'm like, there's going to be a surprise guest. Well, they brought out Chris Stapleton, and he sang Tennessee Whiskey with Justin Timberlake. It's awesome.
Handyman,
Yes, sir.
Was it unusual for Maggie to feed the dogs this time of night or check on them?
Oh, no. I mean, she played with those dogs all the time. And it's especially common for her to, she's been gone for a while.
I'm
to come
surprised
and
his attorney's letting him
especially
talk
two of
like
them
this.
out to run
Okay, so she pretty regularly comes out here in the evenings.
very regularly.
Okay.
Comes out here a lot.
Tater, I know. Yeah, they're tearing down the houses in Westmead. It's a neighborhood in Nashville, y'all, with big lots, and they're building McMansions. It's because they're paying over $1 million for the lot, so they have to build this 8 or 9, 10,000 square foot house. There is no freaking way. Christine Crank, that's his attorney. I'm shocked that he let him talk this much.
Do you have any cameras on your property?
I have deer cameras, but none, around up here
Where are they at?
on different deer stands.
Okay, so deep in the woods.
Well, not necessarily deep in the woods. Some of them are in fields and.
Okay.
So Rodan and Fields, so y'all know, it's a multi-level marketing, aka pyramid scheme, that has like skincare products. And a couple of years ago, I think the federal government got involved, and they basically were like, no more of this, and they ended it. Well, some of my neighbors, one of them, she was like the second one in Nashville to get involved. And they've been living life large. I'm talking like, I can't even tell you, like Louis Vuitton everything. And, all the kids have a Lexus or a Mercedes and blah, 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 blah. So then when they ended it, basically their income that was, I don't know, supposedly like $200,000 a month stopped immediately. Well, their house is now in foreclosure.
But there's none that, are near here.
Okay.
What doctor's appointment? What doctor did Maggie see today?
Okay, Marcy, I'm in Kansas. I've never been to the South. Someday I will get there. Marcy, you need to come down. And has anybody made the chicken noodle soup that I shared on Corey's sentencing day?
I forget the guy's name. Maggie's been having trouble with her. She's been having trouble with her stomach and her tooth. I'm not positive. It was sort of a routine visit, and I can't remember. She told me the name of it, and I can't. I want to say Gordine. Yeah. Gordine okay. Is who I think she saw.
So was she back home around supper time? or
Um,
6 o'clock, 7 o'clock?
Oh, Tater, I'm sure you do know them. Julia, I think Charleston, South Carolina is a gem, but Miss Savannah, if you have to choose between the two, Charleston, hands down. I mean, Savannah's fine, but Charleston, hands down.
I don't think she got back quite that early. I think she got back a little bit later than that.
Okay.
What? When
What
Alex
did you do? Were you at the office or?
first got in the police vehicle, the attorney was rubbing his back before the interview started.
Was home. I came home. Paul and I messed around. I was up at the house.
Super calm.
Laid down, took a nap on the couch, probably, I don't know, 25, 30 minutes. I got up, I called Maggie, didn't get an answer, and I left to go to my mom's. She had said she might ride with me, but she.
Fletcher, if you don't mind saying, what year did you graduate? My husband went there too. Corner of Davidson and Charlotte. Yeah, we are hard to find.
Normally doesn't when I go over there. And I think I texted her. And she's very good about answering the phone. So that was.
Fletcher, you graduated in 75? Okay, so you're like 11 or 12 years older than my husband. Tell us how the cheesecake was.
Odd, or calling me back. So that was odd, but it wasn't that big a deal.
Now, what time was that?
What time was what?
That you sent her a text message.
Tater, I went to high school there, and my son went to school there. Did you know that? I was a honey bear. I think Corey Richens is the most evil woman. And I think it's bizarre that she still has life insurance on her boys. Is there not a way that you have a right to say, like, I don't want someone to have life insurance on me? Patricia asked, did anybody think that Corey's soliloquy sounded a bit cult Lori, and she only did it to get the extra time before they took her down? Yeah. She's disgusting.
I texted her at 9:08.
Tater, yes.
Check on M, be right back. And then I texted her at 9:47. That must be when I started to come back.
Tater, let's meet at Sperry's soon. I'm serious. Fletcher, you can come join. My husband gives me Sperry's gift cards every year in my stocking, and I have a ton, and I will treat y'all.
I think I called her before that. But let me make sure. I called her 9:45. And then I tried Paul. And then.
Why are they sitting in the car and not driving? I'm guessing they're at the dog kennels and they're interviewing him.
I think that might have been riding.
Let's do it. Fletcher, email me.
10:03. I mean, my calls are right here.
Yeah.
So, obviously this is when I, at 10:06.
I can't believe they didn't check him for gun residue. Fletcher, I'm serious. Let's go. You, me, and Tater. We're going to all talk Adelson.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
I'm going to say an unpopular opinion. And I listen to STS. And I know y'all love his mom, but I cannot do the Friday show. I mean, I literally, like, it makes me so anxious. I start cringing. And I don't mean any hatred against her. I don't. I cannot do it.
Anybody else want some gum?
You don't need water, do you, Danny? I don't need it.
If you, behind Danny's head is a case of water.
It's not a big
Come on,
deal.
Andrew.
I got some right here.
Oh, well, thank you.
Do it.
Thank you, ma'am.
I'm sure we're going to have much more questions.
I'm available at, you let me know.
What's another number in case I can't get you on your cell?
I don't have a house phone.
Okay.
An office number. I can give you my brother's cell phone.
All right. What's Randy's?
Hey, Randy's is 803-943-8881.
And John's?
John Marvin's is 843.
Okay. Let's watch some of Becky Hill's testimony. This is from whatever hearing or whatever they've had.
Ms. Hill, how are you?
I'm fine.
I want to get started, if you would, if you could state your full name for the record and spell it for the court reporter, please.
My name is Becky Hill, last name Hill, Hill.
All right. If you would, just give us, you're currently the clerk of court for Colleton County, is that correct?
That's correct.
And just very quickly, if you would, what year were you elected as clerk of court?
At the end of 2020.
At the end of 2020?
Yes.
And prior to that, did you have any involvement or experience with the state judicial system?
I did.
And could you tell the court what that was, please?
I was a South Carolina official court reporter for about 14 years.
All right. And were you, in being an official court reporter, you would serve in the courtroom, which is Ms. Harris is here today, is that correct?
That's
what
correct.
Was your, all right. And was that primarily in the 14th Circuit?
It was primarily in the 14th Circuit. However, I did travel throughout the state.
Did you have any other experience in professional experience prior to becoming a court reporter or clerk of court?
I was a court reporter freelance.
Mama's pearls, maybe, or she might have bought them on Amazon. I'm gonna tell y'all, I have real pearls, and the strand has broken twice, and I had to pay a fortune to get them restrung. It's not even worth it.
For 2 years before that.
Okay. And then any other professional pursuits you've had over the course of your career?
I was able to be a middle school teacher, and I worked for the Board of Disabilities for a few years as well.
Look at the coffee mug. Hey, this is South Carolina. We got a black and yellow floral coffee mug. It's porcelain.
Let me go ahead and just kind of get straight to it. In your capacity as clerk of court and in your previous experience being a court reporter, were you familiar with the rules that apply to court staff as it comes to interactions with jurors in the course of a criminal trial or a civil trial for that matter?
Yes.
All right. And could you tell the court generally what those rules are as far as what contact is permissible and what contact is not permissible, just very quickly?
The judge gives the law and gives the instructions for a jury, and the attorneys will state their opening argument, their opening statements, their closing arguments, and basically the clerk of court and anyone else, court reporter, we're there to, my understanding would be to make sure that everyone's taken care of. Do you need some Kleenex? Do you need some water? Different things like that, just to make sure that they're taken care of.
Is it common for clerks of court to have interaction with jurors during the course of a trial to see to those various logistical needs that you just described?
Yes.
And did that happen in the Murdaugh case?
It did.
And can you give us an example of some of the logistical things that you or other things that you would see to deal with any needs that the jurors may have? I mean, did you provide them food, coffee, make sure they were comfortable, things like that?
Yes, all of that.
Provide blankets for them if they were cold?
Our courtroom was very cold in Colleton County, yes.
Did you provide them with aspirin or Tylenol if they needed, make sure coffee and snacks were available?
Yes.
Did you take lunch orders for
I haven't heard this. Neverly says, we haven't heard what happened with Becky's son. He was wiretapping someone illegally. I don't know about that.
them so that they were fed each day?
Yes.
At any time, did you interact with any juror in an attempt to influence their view of the facts in the State v. Murdaugh case?
No.
All right. Now I want to ask you some specifics about that and some allegations that have been raised. At any time, did you tell the jury not to be fooled by evidence presented by Mr. Murdaugh's attorneys?
I did not.
At any time, did you instruct the jury to watch him closely and look at his actions?
I did not.
At any time, did you instruct the jury or tell the jury to look at his movements?
No.
At any time, as the jury moved to deliberate, did you tell the jury this shouldn't take long?
No.
At any time, did you tell the jury that the defense case, watch out for the defense case, they're going to try to throw you off, or anything along those lines that was meant to influence the jurors against Mr. Murdaugh?
No.
Let me ask you if you ever made any comment to the jurors about the fact that the defendant was going to testify. Did you have a conversation in the presence of the jurors prior to the defendant testifying about the fact that he was about to testify?
It wasn't directly related to the jurors. I was talking to Mr. Bill, who was our bailiff foreman, our bailiff over the jury, and I was talking to him about that.
All right. And what did you say?
I told him what I had just come from downstairs telling my security and bailiff office, that Judge Newman had allowed more testimony in regarding the financials, and that also the defendant had decided that he may testify.
All right. And where were the jurors at the point that that conversation occurred?
There were a few jurors standing in line, and there were some in the bathroom, I'm sure, because they said they were waiting on jurors to get out of the
Wait, Becky Hill's son also worked for the court?
bathroom. And there were some in the jury room just milling around from what I could see, looking down the hallway.
And again, what were the words that you said during that conversation? What were the effect of them?
To Mr. Bill.
Yeah. And what did you say?
I told him that that Judge Newman was allowing more of the financial evidence in, which would prolong the testimony in the trial a little bit. And also that the defendant had decided that he was going to testify.
Did you say anything about this being an important day? Pay attention. We'll get coffee for you. Things like that during that?
I usually give a little pep talk to the jurors. It's sometimes hard sitting a long time, but my usual, and I do remember saying, pay attention. It's a big day today. Whatever you need, let Mr. Bill know or one of the other bailiffs, and they'll be glad to get it for you.
I mean, I think that's awful to say, pay attention. It's a big day today. The only thing I've ever heard when I was on a jury, they just say, here's some snacks.
Did your comments or were your comments in any way phrased in favor of one side or against another side? Or were they more of a neutral comment about paying attention?
No, it was not for one side or the other.
Do y'all think she still lives in South Carolina? Because if I was her, I'd be getting the hell out. I'd be like moving to Idaho.
Were you present when the jury went to the Moselle property to conduct the jury view?
I was.
All right. And was Judge Newman there as well?
He was.
During the time that you were on the property, traveling there, traveling back, did you have any conversation with the jurors where you made any comment about the substance of any testimony or any comment about the merits or the strength of the case?
No, no.
Did you have a quick comment to the forelady about how the property was beautiful and there were tea olive trees there that bloom and smell good, or words to that effect?
I did.
All right. And was there any other conversation related that you had where you?
Okay, y'all, this is Becky Hill right now. Thank you, Neverly, who just texted me. I think she looks better on the left. I think she looks older. When you're older and you have long hair like that, I mean, the black eyeliner has got to go. It's got to get that plum stuff I told you all about.
You made any comment about the case or the merits or anything like that?
Oh, no, no.
During the course of this trial,
I agree. Judge Everett was the greatest. He made sure the jurors had snacks. Yeah, he said he went to Costco himself. Adorable.
did you have a bailiff employee whose primary job it was to see to the jury and their security and to keep them separate from everyone else that was involved in this trial?
Does
I
like
did.
Stevie
Who
Nicks.
was that?
Mr. Bill Polk,
All right. And he was ultimately the jury coordinator in this particular case?
that's correct.
During the course of the
John Smith. She looks like she's on the Nestor diet now. Y'all know that really pissed me off at Corey's sentencing when they all three like were, and Wendy Lewis looks over at Bloodworth like, yeah, don't mess with Corey. And then Ramos stands behind so like the family can't see. And then Wendy, not Wendy, what's her name? Nestor. What's her first name? She's on the other side. I thought that was ridiculous.
the deliberations, once the jury went back there, did you have any contact with the jury?
Yeah, this is costing them millions, race and rodeo. For her to just get a year probation, she got lucky.
Or have any substantive discussion with them?
Not at all.
Did you have any discussion with them about logistics, about staying in a hotel or anything like that?
I did not.
Did you have any interaction with the jurors or anything to do with them having smoke breaks or anything like that?
I did not.
During the course of the trial, did you have any discussion or interaction with?
Okay, real quick, little commercial break. Allison is asking, what is the eyeliner? So ladies, once you hit like 40 something, you need to ditch the black eyeliner. I don't care what color hair, eyes. I personally go for this Palladio. And look, I buy expensive, I buy cheap makeup, but for this, it's fine. I actually like this better than some NARS eyeliner. You can see purchased 7 times since, and then I just bought some May 14th yesterday. So I buy a few at a time, but it is Palladio. What is it called? Exotic Plum Waterproof Eyeliner. And it's like $10. And what I do is I put it right up here on the upper lid, like right like inside the eyelashes. So that is one thing. So pretty soon I'll do another live about makeup.
The jurors about them giving any interviews to the media or making themselves available to the media? I'm asking during the course of the trial itself.
No, not during the course of the trial.
After the verdict had been reached and the case was in sentencing, did you have any conversation with any jurors at that time after they had already entered their verdict and been individually polled?
Yes, after the sentencing.
All right. And tell the court what that interaction was at that time.
There were several outlets, news outlets, that wanted to interview the jury as a whole and really wanted to get them up to New York. And so I was trying to get a hold of all the jurors to talk about that. That was something we had not prepared for.
Did you at all pressure the jurors to speak, or did you just tell them that it was their option to speak or not, and here's the contact information?
I did not pressure the jury to speak. No.
Did you advise them that it was their
I'm so happy you like the eyeliner, Tater. I'm telling you, once you go exotic plum, you never go back. It is not always once you go black, you never go back. It is exotic plum. It's perfect. I do have blue eyes, but I think it's perfect for anybody. Or just do like a smoky gray or something. Do not do the black, and don't do the thick black under here. Get just like a smudge of something kind of neutral, just a little bit of something. Trust me, ladies.
Decision and their decision alone, whether or not they wish to speak to the media?
It was totally their decision.
I agree. Going out on a limb here, Andrew says, Nestor's next trial will not go well. I agree. My father's alibi. You're welcome.
And did you advise them of that?
Yes, yes.
Thanks, Race and Rodeo. You're sweet.
I'm going to ask it again, but I just want to be sure. At any time, did you make any comment to any juror or in the presence of any juror in which you at all
Hey, do y'all
tried
see that
to...
guy up there? That's Matt Johnson. You see, can y'all see my mouse thing? He was on Court TV. So this is what I'm confused about. Like Court TV, I thought Court TV and Law and Crime merged or acquired or whatever. And then Court TV let everybody go. But then they brought back Janaea, or is that her name? But I'm confused because there's still two channels. There's Court TV and there's Law and Crime. And then Matt, I think, was let go from Court TV. Correct me if I'm wrong. And I like him. And on his YouTube channel, when he plays like clips, he's playing Court TV. I got news. Court TV lets me go. It's the last one I'm going to play.
influence them in favor of one side or
Yes,
against
thank
another?
you, Tater.
I did not.
Did you understand, being a longtime court employee and clerk of court, that that is outside the boundaries of what is appropriate interactions with the jurors during the course of the trial?
Absolutely.
And did at any time did you violate that rule that you understood?
I did not.
Court's indulgence, 1 moment.
Oh, I hate that saying. Court's indulgence. Kathy Nestor freaking said it 20 freaking times a day. And Corey, I cannot stand her. Have they hauled her out of there yet? Is she going to that Utah State Prison, or is she? What's going on?
We spent 6 weeks together, didn't we?
We did.
And during those 6 weeks,
Now, this man looks like he has a hard Jack Daniels on rocks, about 4 of them, and a pack of Marlboro Reds.
you were as helpful to me as you could be, correct?
You took her within 12 hours?
Accommodated
Yes.
just about every request I made.
Yes, sir.
Wait.
That noise. Is that a sidebar?
Where were we? Oh yeah, we're old friends.
Be heard. That was the microphone that was supposed to. You're fine where you are. Absolutely fine.
Yes, ma'am. It was a stage microphone that was obscuring my ability to question a witness.
Yeah. Well, what I'm wondering is whether you can be heard without a microphone. Do we need to try to get a microphone up on this podium? Yeah, that would be good. All right.
I don't know who's supposed to hear this other than you, but I assume they can hear us. The court reporter, I'm sorry. She's more important, not as important as you.
Yes, I agree.
Oh yeah, we're old friends, right? We spent 6 weeks together in a very pressure-filled situation, correct?
It was a long 6 weeks.
It was a long 6 weeks. And during those 6 weeks, you were helpful to me in a number of different ways, accommodating friends that I had that wanted to come watch the trial, for instance, correct?
That's correct.
You even allowed me to use the private restroom down on the first floor so I didn't have to stand in line with the rest of the people trying to get breaks, correct?
Correct.
So we have no animosity towards each other. You didn't do something to me, and I didn't do something to you during that trial, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. Now, given that, I'm going to ask you some questions today that may indicate to you that I have some antagonism towards you. Let me disabuse you of that. I'm here doing a job representing my client, and you've been around the court system for decades, correct?
Yes, sir.
So you understand what we're doing here today.
Yes.
Now, let me understand a couple of things. I think, and I've read your book, some editions of your book. There's several. We got a bunch of emails in which you have drafts that you forwarded to your co-author, correct?
Your Honor, objection. I believe I would object to relevance. I believe any draft she sent to her co-author with the book is beyond the scope of this inquiry here today.
Overruled. You may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Cheryl, you said you're 100% right about the eyeliner. You play all day with it. You always give advice. So another eyeshadow I like is MAC, and it's called Yogurt. It's a nude with a little bit of pink. It's good.
And in those drafts,
Fletcher Boy says, I can't believe Utah paid $1.3 million for Corey's defense. I agree, but if you look at the hours they put in and all the resources, I mean, I'd be curious to know what it really kind of came out to. But Wendy Lewis, like, I absolutely think she is innocent. She's like the Tara Kawas of Utah.
say certain things about the trial, about the process, which you later did not include in the final version. It's called editing. Is that correct?
I would agree with that.
Okay. Now, let's talk about this book for just a second. When did you first decide you were going to write a book?
I think a thought was there, a very fleeting thought before the trial.
Did you take any steps before the trial or at the initiation of the trial to begin writing this book or working with somebody on this book?
Oh, no, sir.
When did you and your co-author get together?
It was several weeks after the trial.
Okay.
And Becky also admitted she plagiarized.
Okay. Did you talk to anybody about the fact you were going to write a book before the trial?
There were several anchors and several journalists that I did speak with about the possibility of writing a book.
I'm so disorganized, I apologize. Did you seek assistance in this trial from other clerks of court?
Yes, sir, I did.
And who were they?
Rhonda McElveen, who is the Barnwell County Clerk of Court, and Renee Elvis from the Horry County Clerk of Court.
Andrew, I'll be all over the shorts on the Charlie Kirk trial.
And were they there with you the entire 6 weeks?
No.
I mean, how long were they there? Or how often were they there?
So I think it took the Supreme Court in South Carolina 3 months to come to the decision to overturn this conviction. So when was Charlie's stuff in the Supreme Court in Florida? February? So we're over 3 months now. Ugh.
Rhonda McElveen was there as often as she could be, probably several times a week. Renee Elvis helped me during the jury selection.
And did she begin, that is, Ms. McElveen, did she begin?
Oh, Fletcher, I'm glad you like the Psycho Killer. I love that song. I love to make shorts with songs. There's been so many to make these days.
Working with you prior to jury selection.
Can you repeat that?
So you think Alex might have gotten to Becky observation station and paid her? I think Becky had a strong hatred for Alec. I don't know.
Question?
Was
on
she, we began jury selection, I think, on January 23rd, correct?
that? Correct.
Was she working with you or consulting with you prior to the 23rd?
No, sir.
Did you have any conversation with her about the trial?
Not until she got to the trial on what, I can't remember the exact day she came.
Okay. Now, is she a friend of yours?
She was a friend, yes.
Was?
Well, she is a friend.
Okay.
Yes.
She's done nothing to make you any less a friend.
No, sir.
Now, did you tell her about the time of the trial that you were going to write a book? That you had thought about and were going to write a book?
I can't remember exactly. I think we did have a conversation about a book possibly in the future.
And did you tell her you're going to write a book because you thought it would make a lot of money?
Oh, no, sir.
You never said that.
No, sir.
And did you tell her that you were going to write a book to make a bunch of money so
That's not true. Didn't she tell them that she was going to write a book? Like she wanted a guilty verdict to write this book?
we could buy a lake lot and build a house on it?
No, sir.
Okay. Now, did you ever tell her that you had given a juror a ride home, that you had accompanied Mr. Bill, what's his last name?
Bill Polk.
Right. That you and he took a juror home one night? Did you tell her that? Did you take a juror home one night?
I didn't take a juror home one night.
Did
No,
Mr.
sir.
Polk and you take a juror home one night?
No, sir, we
Okay, you
didn't.
never gave a juror a ride in a car with Mr. Polk or without?
No, sir.
Okay. Now, also, during the trial, your daughter ended up on the Venire, is that right?
She did.
And she was coming up, and did you talk to me and Mr. Waters about putting her on the jury if at all possible?
I'm not sure that we wanted her to be on the jury if at all possible, but I think the question was, would she make a good juror? And I said she sure would.
Now, I don't think we asked you. I think you told us she would make a great juror, did you not?
I remember you asking.
Okay. I was considering putting your daughter on the jury.
Yes, sir.
And who does she work for?
She works for Compass South.
Did she work for the sheriff's department at some point?
No, sir.
Okay. Did she work in law enforcement at all?
No, sir.
Okay. Now, let me ask you this. How many jury rooms were there?
We have 2 jury rooms in Colleton.
In this trial, how many jury rooms did you have? How many?
2.
Okay, so the entire jury wasn't together at any one time? They were separated into 2 rooms?
Yes.
Okay. And when they're separated into 2 jury rooms like that, are they next door to each?
Okay, wait a second. I was just looking at Charlie's appeal. So what is this? This was filed on May 5th, so it's been a bit. The appellant, Charles Adelson, pursuant to Florida rule, blah, 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 submits the motion withdrawal of counsel Laurel Niles as counsel in this matter. Michael Efferman and the firm of Michael Efferman will continue to represent the appellant in this case. Does that mean Niles maybe left that firm? The firm of Michael Efferman and its attorney, Michael Efferman, initiated this case on behalf of the appellant. In addition, Laurel Niles, who previously worked for Michael Efferman law firm, has worked on this case on the appellant's behalf. Oh, she's no longer employed by Michael Efferman. The removal will not prejudice either party. Yeah, it's a nothing burger. And then here it says the court grants the motion for withdrawal of counsel, blah, blah, blah. Okay, that's it.
Each other? Are they down the hall from each other?
They are next door to each other.
Okay, so but if you close the door to one, can they hear what's going on in the other one?
Some women probably have very good hearing, and men too, but I would say probably not.
Okay, are there restrooms in both of the jury rooms?
There are.
Okay, are there 2 restrooms or just one?
There's one restroom in each jury room.
Okay, were either one of those restrooms designated men and women, or did everybody use the same one?
They were unisex.
They were unisex. Okay, now, prior to your testimony here today, have you met with the Attorney General's office in Sweat?
I have.
On how many occasions?
I want to say twice.
Okay. And remember when the first time was?
I think the first time was in September.
Okay. And the second time was last week?
Yes, sir.
And that was in Walterboro?
Yes, right.
And you all spent about 4.5 hours together?
I want to say maybe 2 hours together.
Okay. And in those 2 hours,
She's getting on my nerves. All right. I'm going to show. This was when she pleads guilty and gets probation. Becky Hill.
Now to breaking news. The former clerk of court during Alex Murdaugh's murder trial will not.
Yes, Allison. And we have a little different coloring, but I like, it's called, the color is yogurt. It's a MAC eyeshadow. You have to do a primer though. Let me walk through that.
Not see jail time after pleading guilty before a judge today. About an hour ago, a hearing for Becky Hill wrapped up. As many of you know, Hill was charged with several crimes related to her time as clerk of court in Colleton County during Murdaugh's trial. Those allegations are now central to Murdaugh's appeal of his guilty conviction. News 19's Josie Frost was in court and has the breaking details.
Becky Hill pled guilty to misconduct in office, obstruction of justice, and perjury. She was sentenced to 3 years of probation, and if she serves that probation, she won't see any jail time. All 4 charges stem from ethics and SLED investigations into her actions before, during, and after the Alex Murdaugh murder trial. Prosecutors say they uncovered evidence that she gave media members unauthorized access to sealed Murdaugh trial exhibits, used her office to promote her book, and
Is that not crazy? She supposedly gave the media some of the sealed evidence so they could have pictures of it.
and paid herself nearly $12,000 in improper bonuses. But they emphasized that they could not prove those high-profile allegations of jury tampering. The judge sentenced Hill to suspended prison terms on every charge, meaning no jail time. She will instead serve her probation sentences concurrently, meaning if she doesn't violate the rules, it'll be 3 years of probation, 100 hours of community service, and full restitution, which she paid in court today. Hill spoke before the court and told the judge she is, quote, truly sorry and takes full responsibility for her actions.
There is no excuse for my mistakes. I am ashamed of them, and I will carry that shame with me for the rest of my life. I have already begun the hard work of rebuilding the relationships that I damaged by accepting responsibility,
That hair is so bad.
by seeking forgiveness from those that I love, and by repaying any improper bonus I received.
Now, if Hill does break probation, she would have to serve out that suspended sentence in prison, and it would run concurrently as well, meaning she would get 5 total
No, she had to resign from her job.
years in jail. Josie Frost, News 19, WLTX.
I think she should have had jail time, my opinion. All right. So real quick, I'm just going to share some makeup stuff. Okay. Allison, this is the eyeshadow. It is really not this pink. It's just it's like more of a nude, but it gives you just a little bit of color. This, as y'all get older, y'all, less eye makeup. I promise you. This is, the color is called Yogurt. It's by MAC, M-A-C. And then I put this on my under eye, just like kind of in the eyelash area on the under. It's Palladio. I use, and I'm not saying y'all need to use the same color as me, taupe shimmer. But if you have like an evening thing, I mean, you can do something a little darker. And I highly recommend some kind of an eyeshadow primer. Makeup people, don't come at me. But I use like my concealer that I put under my eye. I put it on my eyelids, let it dry, and then I put the shadow on. And you do not get any eyelid creases. Okay? So that's pretty much it. I mean, I don't even know what's going on in this video here. I agree, Fletcher. Becky Hill getting 0 jail time is not right. She lied under oath. DH is still defending him. Yeah, still defending Murdaugh. Neverly says she lied under oath, stole money from the court, did jury tampering, among other things. I agree. Julia, that was something I've been hearing about too, that she didn't lose her pension. So Becky Hill does not lose her South Carolina pension. How long was she the clerk of court? Does anybody know? So in March of 2024, she resigned from her position. What triggered this behavior? Money. Money is the root of all evil. She resigned. She wanted to make, and it's in the Supreme Court ruling, she wanted to make enough money to buy a lake house. Agent 47 says she resigned. She did that press conference and she resigned. Juliet says Becky has Wendy Adelson hair. Does she? Let's see. Becky press conference. Resignation. Yeah, so she was elected to that job. Let's see. Here we go.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Justin Bamberg. Myself, along with Will Lewis, are counsel for Miss Becky Hill, the Colleton County Clerk of Court. Today will be brief, but today's important. Obviously, over the last few months, Miss Hill has really wanted to.
You know, when you just hear that accent and it doesn't match the person. I know. But I always love the press conferences out by this courthouse with the stairs. It's really pretty. Hey, Wendy Joan.
Address her constituents. Obviously, with things that were going on, she has certain rights, and she's got to protect herself, most of which came under the advice of counsel. And that, I think, has been lost on a lot of people with everything that's been going on, is that as clerk of court, you do have a constituency, the residents here in Colleton County. And today could have occurred hiding behind a computer screen or hiding behind her lawyers. And Ms. Hill was committed to that not happening. And I
Tater, what is color depositing conditioner? Please tell me.
stand with her, and I also respect her very much for being here today. So without further ado, I'll turn the floor over.
That is funny to think about, Andrew. If I was really good at making AI videos, but people don't really love them, I guess, that much. But can you imagine Hill and Nestor at a cocktail party together? And you got to add in Wendy Lewis and Daniel Rashbaum. Hysterical.
To Miss Becky Hill.
Good morning, everyone. It has been my honor and pleasure to serve as your Colleton County Clerk of Court over these past 4 years.
Yeah, what is she wearing? She went on Temu and was like, I have a press conference to talk about my guilty plea. What should I wear? I'm going to wear Duty Brown with chiffon sleeves.
The clerk's office has provided many services to the citizens of Colleton County. The Colleton County Clerk's Office is proud of our services and the significant impacts we have made in the history of South Carolina. Here at the Colleton County Courthouse, you will find a full-service passport office with certified agents ready to help you, as well as notary services and e-filing that has streamlined our civil processes. Another significant impact in our clerk's office was in 2023, when we had to manage one of the biggest trials in South Carolina history. Our small town came together and made everyone proud. Managing a trial with such importance to the people of South Carolina, as well as of the national and international media, interest and public scrutiny, and has caused me to reflect upon decisions involving my stay in the office of the Clerk of Court. And so, after much reflection, I have decided that it is best not to run again for re-election. I will now be able to focus on being a wife, a mother, and grandmother to my 2 grandboys, and will be spending time with the people who mean the most to me. With the upcoming election, I wanted to ensure that I provided ample time for other Republican candidates who may be interested in pursuing this position. I want to publicly thank all of the citizens of Colleton County who voted for me, who have supported me, and who have stood by me. I also want to take just a moment to extend heartfelt condolences to the family and friends of a very, very kind, professional educator here in Colleton County who has departed this life and gone on to the other life that she has. And that is the family of Debbie Price. And so
I agree, Agent. Yeah, we got to add Donna's attorney into the cocktail party. So we also need to add Jackie Fulford and Josh Selman.
today, I just want to take a few seconds of silence just to remember her and her family and friends.
Yeah.
I also want to thank my amazing staff.
This is a very just not a good choice of out. Is that a vest or is that just the blouse gathered? But it's very bad.
Work in the clerk of court's office for the wonderful job that they have done and that they will continue to do.
Yeah, I agree. The chandelier earrings, she should just wear like a little stud. Who's this girl in the back in the square neck Mormon dress?
We are fortunate to have strong leadership within our office, and I am proud to say that our clerk's office will seamlessly move forward. I look forward to all of the future holds and will fondly remember the true amazing friendships that I have made while serving the incredible people of Colleton County. And so, as we fix our eyes forward, I would like to announce also that my resignation as clerk of court will be effective immediately. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, I do have in my hand a signed copy of Ms. Hill's official resignation. That will be forwarded to the governor's office, Governor Henry McMaster's office later today. I've served in the South Carolina State House for over a decade now. When we run as elected officials in this state, we run.
She's wearing like a white lace skirt.
Publicly. Our lives become public. We serve publicly, and it's only fitting. And I respect Ms. Hill very much. That the conclusion.
Yeah, the guy behind has on like maroon pants and a red tie. Oof.
Conclusion of her service also happens publicly. I'll be taking a couple of questions, but I do want to say one thing because I know that there are speculation and rumors. Having lived in small town South Carolina my entire life, I can see where people's minds may run after an announcement such as this. So let me be extremely clear. Today is not in response whatsoever to anything going on with any investigation or anything of that nature. Okay, and I'm going to say that one more time. Today is not in response to any new development of some investigation or anything like that. Today is.
I don't like this guy. So as part of a plea agreement in December 2025, she avoided prison time and was instead sentenced to 3 years of probation. Okay, I've read 3 years and 1 year, but this is 3 years, 100 hours of community service, and she was ordered to pay $11,880 in restitution. She admitted to using her office for personal financial gain, lying to a judge, and sharing sealed evidence with the media. She avoided incarceration, received 3 years probation, 100 hours community service. Prior to her plea, Hill resigned from her position as the Colleton County Clerk of Court on March 25th, 2024.
about the people of Colleton County. There is still another week available for filing for the clerk of court's office. And
I mean, her attorney, I don't even know what's going on.
it is what it is. If Ms. Hill had stayed in office,
Look at the people in the back, the lady in the black dress next to the lady in the pink ruffle sweater. It's like they're posing for wedding photos.
the people of Colleton County would be the ones who
This is her
would be
attorney.
affected to a certain degree, because there are a number of candidates running for clerk of court. Those candidates.
I'm going to tell you right now, if I have to go on a press conference, my preferential color would be navy blue, would not be duty brown, and it would not be chandelier earrings. I would wear like a stud earring like I'm wearing now, which is just classy business. I don't even know what's going on. I would say she's in a little bit of a crisis.
Have different things different platforms that they want to campaign on. And it would be inevitable that if Becky was still serving while those candidates were campaigning, every time they mention something, every time there's an article, every time there's a forum and candidates are discussing the future that they seek to create for the courthouse behind us, there'll be a degree of a cloud over that because it'll be talking about the sitting clerk, etc. So this decision was made wholeheartedly by Ms. Hill for the benefit.
Andrew, the fact that you've written Lane Bryant twice in the chat's cracking me up because, like, I'm just impressed that you even know that. My husband would be like, "Who the hell's Lane Bryant?"
And to the benefit of the citizens of Colleton County,
Yeah.
we will not address any investigation stuff, whether it be SLED or state ethics or anything like that. So please, I know it's tough. I can see some of the faces out there. No questions about any of that. If you do ask, I'm gonna dodge it because we're not going to comment on that. We're not going to detract from the positive nature of today, the bittersweet positive nature of today with that. So with that said, I would like to acknowledge behind us faithful members of the clerk of court's office. These are dedicated employees to the people of Colleton County. And we want to thank them for everything that they have been doing, everything that they will continue to do, so that we can continue to make Colleton County as great as it is. So with that said, happy to take any questions. I mean, we respect Justice Toll, and she is a longtime jurist in this state. I don't think you'll find any lawyer that doesn't respect her. And we respect her decision in court. We respect her review of things and the comments that she made. She is former Chief Justice Toll. So at present, with the resignation of Ms. Hill, the deputy clerk will step in immediately to effectively run the clerk's office. And we anticipate that at some point in the immediate future, Governor McMaster may appoint a formal clerk of court to step in and actually be formally in charge. But for right now, and that's one thing that took some timeline and everything up to make sure that with this decision, the clerk's office could continue to run effectively, efficiently for litigants and for the citizens. So there will be no gaps in service whatsoever to the people of Colleton County.
Gary Hale Jr. In fact, he's standing right behind me.
Gary, are you planning to run for the clerk office? I'm currently here and I'm on the county's time and I can't discuss that right now.
Becky, what would you say was the deciding factor in announcing your resignation?
I hate it when they don't read the questions.
Without a doubt, my grandchildren. If you have grandchildren, you know. You know.
So you're saying your resignation had nothing to do at all with the investigation?
No, sir.
What the resignation is strictly
She just said her resignation has nothing to do with the investigation. And she spoke before her attorney did.
about the people of Colleton. And again, we're not going to get into any of the investigation stuff and all that as things are still open. But the primary and the main focus of today is what is in the best interest of the constituency.
Yeah, what's in the best interest? Okay, so this is his. You were close, Neverly. Bamberg has emerged as a rising star in a quasi fraternity of lawyers who bill themselves as both civil rights fighters and tort attorneys who can win millions of dollars in wrongful death payouts. So this is him, her attorney, Justin Bamberg. I was trying to see like his history, but we find that the very things that make us different, like doing our own thing in our own way, are some of the very things that make us successful.
If you've been seriously injured, who you hire matters. Insurance companies need to understand that you're not just a claim number. And at Bamberg Legal, we want you to understand that you're more than just a client, you're family.
Car wrecks, tractor trailer, no jingles. Just justice. I like it. Wait a minute. His name is Justin Bamberg and it's in Bamberg, South Carolina. Is that real? Okay.
The public. And this ended up being the out of the options that were on the table, for example, just not running again and staying in office through the election, etc. Like I mentioned earlier, that ran the risk of detracting or impeding the public's ability to digest information from candidates about what they want.
So Race and Radio says, off topic, does anyone know where Wendy is? Well, according to a September Instagram post, she was in Austin, Texas. So that's like 8 months ago. I'm guessing she's still there.
Offer. So that's why the decision was made. We'll take one more question. Yes, sir. I believe I would have to double check, but I believe
Double.
the governor would have the ability to make an appointment. I don't know that there would be a special election. However, that wouldn't be out of the question. That question would probably be more directed for state election commission. And if there is a special election, of course, that will be announced by the powers that be in the elections office. And then folks will campaign and.
I mean, I know he's whatever, but she got a hell of a deal. No time and just probation. I mean, essentially nothing. $11,000. Come on. Yes, it's real. I always wondered about that. Has his family, Bamberg, like another Murdaugh family? Yeah. I mean, you do wonder. Wonder where he went to law school. South Carolina. Let's see. I'm looking at his LinkedIn. Yep. University of South Carolina. He graduated in 2011. He's young. And then he got his bachelor's at South Carolina in criminal justice. He talks more than Becky. New people in the back. Kind of looks like Gregory Hines. Oh my God. Do you remember that movie White Knights? Back when it was like Soviet Union and they were crossing over the line and like they were dancers or something. Does anybody remember that? John Smith. When you're under the gun for trial, you ruined who you gonna call? Bamberger. Y'all are funny. Yeah. All right. I can't believe it's been almost 3 hours. I'm gonna go. But book club Sunday, Ruth Markel's book, The Unveiling, chapter 5. So I need to schedule the live, but you remember the ad for the movie, but you never watched it. Yeah. But thank y'all for joining me, and we'll be following along with this one. And I appreciate everybody. Y'all have a good one. Bye.
I'm Leslie B, justice seeker, story keeper, and we're still watching, waiting for justice.